Hey, everybody. State Senator Mark Huizenga here. This is another Conversations with Mark podcast. Glad you could join us today. Today, we have with us Katie from Swanson Pickle. And I got to tell you, the first time I saw this organization or operation, I was riding on the bike. I was riding on the Muscatawa
Okay.
Trail. And, it's a beautiful place to ride, see nature, lots of farms and cool things out here. And then all of a sudden, out of the midst of nowhere, are all these huge plastic bins. And I was intrigued. I'm like, what in the world is that place? And so, like a normal person, I went to Google Maps and tried to figure out where I was. And I'm like, oh my word, those are all pickling vats. You guys take and process cucumbers that you grow, but you also grow from other people, I think, or get some from other
Right.
people.
Yeah.
And you make pickles, and everybody knows about pickles, but I don't think most people in Michigan know how big the pickle industry in Michigan really is.
That's right. Yeah. Well, no, that's a great trail. I'm on it all the time. Actually, I put a lot of miles on that trail. It's a luxury to have it so close here. But yeah, pickles in Michigan are a very important crop. We're actually number one in terms of acres of pickling cucumbers grown anywhere in the U.S. Michigan is top of the list by far. So I definitely want to get that out in the top of the podcast so
Yeah.
that I don't forget to say it.
I'm sure most people have no idea.
Most people don't know that. But it's an important crop here. We also have a lot of pickle infrastructure, like the tanks that you said. So those are actually fiberglass tanks. We have over 1,300 here. So we'd be one of the largest tank yards in Michigan, but Michigan's home to most tank yards in the U.S.
You say 1,300 of these tanks. How many gallons fit in a tank?
Yeah, so probably roughly 8,000. But if you do it
8,000 gallons.
Yeah. But if you do it, the metric that we would use, so about 45,000 pounds of pickles go into each tank with another 2,500 gallons. So that's the ratio of pickles to brine.
So when you start talking like that, then people start to understand the scope of
The volume,
just how massive this is.
Yeah.
We did a tour of your farm a couple years ago and had a chance to see the pickle harvesting, the cucumber harvesting, because they're not pickles until they go through the brining process. You grow cucumbers.
Right. That's another thing we probably need to clear up. So pickling is a process, but we grow a specific type of cucumber called a pickling cucumber. So, and the reason why it's different is stomades, or these kind of the wart looking, like if you pick up a pickling cucumber, you can tell it's not smooth.
The little bumps on there.
The little bumps. And those are what allow salt to penetrate. So it's very important that because we do all the fermentation with whole pickles. So if we didn't, or whole cucumbers, if we didn't have a way for the salt to enter the pickle fast enough, then what would happen is it would just start to rot before fermentation would actually take place, or you'd have to do some kind of cutting process first.
Sure.
So yeah, we're growing a very specific, and so in the industry, normally people just say pickles, but it's technically a cucumber.
Yeah.
So that always gets people.
Yeah. You guys have been huge players in this market for a long time. It's not just you, it's like your family heritage. Like you go back a long time in this industry and you've seen a lot of changes over the years. I remember when we did the tour, one of the things that surprised me was how innovative you were with the equipment that harvested the pickle,
right?
The cucumber, I should say again.
Yeah. Yes.
But you're like innovators too. Like you work to create this. And if you're the biggest in the country, there has to be innovation, because who else is going to do it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think in farming, actually, there's a ton of, I think we're often early adopters of technology, or kind of pursuing new innovations all the time, be it big or small, or that's been my experience. But yeah, we're myself and my two brothers, Matt and Wes, are part of the fourth generation. Currently so my great grandfather started the company. And yeah, we've been here for quite a while. We not only, we've evolved through the years. We are still growers, and we grow about 3,000 acres in total, half of which are pickling cucumbers. The other half would be corn and beans. But then we're also buying from growers all over the state of Michigan. So in total, we want to get about 60 million pounds of pickles through here every year.
That's incredible.
That would be kind of the goal. So yeah.
So then you brine them, they become this transformation from cucumber to a pickle.
Yep.
And then you don't package them. You ship them to somebody else for
Yeah.
all kinds of other uses. Can you tell us a little bit about like who uses this and where you would find your pickles?
Yeah, so we do the fermentation process here, but we're not doing any flavors or final packaging. So whether, our customers would then add if it's going to be a dill pickle or a sweet pickle, they could do whatever flavor they want, and then, various kinds of either bulk packaging or individual packaging. But these would go to all your major, manufacturers across the US. Um, we a lot of our pickles go to Holland, Michigan, so Kraft
Hmm.
Heinz there.
Sure.
But we have customers throughout the whole country. So
I remember one time you told me that some of these get made into chips where you cut them up, not
mhm.
you, but
Yeah.
you have a vendor, some other customer that processes, then they go into restaurant pickles.
Right. Yeah, they a lot of ours would be chip stock, which would be like think McDonald's hamburger. So
Sure.
find their way onto a McDonald's hamburger. Or we also do a lot of relish here. So
Mm.
we have and relish is an interesting product because if something's, too big, too small, too crooked, like it can still be chopped up and
You can
made
grind
into
that up and it
relish.
looks
Yeah.
just fine.
Yeah. So we really don't waste anything. When we harvest a field of cucumbers, we there's a market for every single size and grade there.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, the only thing that's unmarketable would be like if something was rotten, if you had a rain event or something like that. But otherwise, we can use everything, and yeah, so it's pretty efficient in that sense.
Mhm. Michigan is full of lots of agricultural surprises. I think a lot of
Mhm.
times people that live in Michigan, they live in cities and don't realize how broad and diverse our agricultural community and industry really is in Michigan. We worked a number of years ago to help with the city of Coopersville to put in a new forest main,
Mhm.
wastewater main that helps a lot of organizations from Fairlife Farms to the city of
Yes.
Coopersville and sends that through a pipeline that's going out towards Muskegon. You guys are also beneficiaries of that too, right?
Yes, and I would like to say thank you to everyone that was involved,
Yeah.
specifically to you and to everyone. That was a Many people came together to make that project happen, and we're so thrilled it did. So, we're a very small, we're a literal drop in the bucket in
Hmm.
terms of
Yeah.
the waste generation, but for our business it's very meaningful to be able to have direct access to municipal waste. So we are currently, if you look out the window, you can see
Uh,
we're currently in construction right now to get connected. We were hoping to be sending waste via that pipeline in June of this year. So that's a pretty big game changer for us. Right now, we're capturing all our waste in tanks, and then we haul it by truck to
mhm.
Muskegon County wastewater. So
That's
it's
more roads on the more
yes,
vehicles on
yeah,
the road, more diesel fuel spent.
yeah,
You need to find drivers. Labor's hard to find.
yeah,
So it's
all
like
of
a
it.
win-win-win. And I think the other part is when I talk to folks that use tools like this, it allows them to continue to grow.
Yes,
Sometimes
yeah.
folks are like, well, we're at our capacity simply because of disposing of the waste here. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, you hear that a lot. I mean, wastewater constraint is a top concern in food and ag. So for us, this will open up new doors. It will just help our business right now in terms of that, you know, cost efficiency, because logistically, it's just hard to manage moving that waste with tanker trucks. So,
The other thing I would say is that a lot of times people don't understand the downstream or the implications of what you do. So
mhm.
it's you and you have contracted farmers that are growing for you, but if you can grow, that helps everybody win.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the constraints that are there constrain everybody. So
yeah.
who wins? Other farmers,
Hmm.
um,
Hmm.
folks that sell farm equipment,
Right.
people that put diesel fuel in those trucks,
Hmm.
people that you name it. It goes on and on. And Michigan, I think again, is the second most diverse agricultural
Yeah.
state in the country, which most people don't know that either. But
Hmm.
it helps us to continue to maintain and manage that. Everyone always says like we're an auto state, and we are. We're a big manufacturing
Right.
state, but having that diversity and especially with food, that's important. Food and what people think about these days has changed a lot.
Hmm.
From I don't know, right now it just seems like the big craze is how do we get more protein and everything. I'm sure you're
Yeah.
not doing protein pickles.
I
Um,
did see an April Fool's spoof on that though. I think actually Kraft Heinz did some kind of spoof on, that they were adding protein to
sure.
pickle
I'll
to
bet they did it
Clausen
up.
pickles.
Yeah. Right. But what other kind of innovations are happening in the industry right now? I know a lot of times people are concerned with local and locally sourced and healthier. What kind of things are happening in the pickling industry to fit the needs of what maybe different than what your grandfather might have
Yeah.
seen?
I mean, pickles has been a hot category right now for a little bit, which we're thankful for.
Mhm.
One of the things we always say is just eat more pickles, like float the entire boat, because we supply to many different markets. Meaning, we as a company, as long as you're consuming pickles from anywhere, we're basically pretty happy.
Mhm.
But we operate in the traditional space of fermentation, so we're fermenting the same way we did 50 years ago, we're or more. We're using old brine. We recycle our brine. That's where our starter culture comes from. It's a simple process. It's pretty easy if you've done it before.
It's pretty
and
easy, but it's also complex
yeah, it's
chemistry.
pretty easy when you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, in
I
a
hadn't thought about that because, a lot of people talk about fermented foods right now, kimchi and other things,
yeah,
but do pickles fall into that same
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
category of like,
absolutely. I
hey, this
mean,
is
yep.
healthy, it's good for your gut, for your biome, and all this kind of stuff to,
Yeah. So lactobacillus is the good bacteria at work, and
yeah,
that is as it sounds. I mean,
sure.
pickles are a fermented food.
Hmm.
One of the spaces that's more growing in our industry would be more fresh pack pickles, which aren't fully fermented. But our company is very focused because we have the investment in the tanks that you rode
Hmm.
your bike by.
Sure.
So we're kind of married to the fermentation segment, and that's where we mostly play.
Labor is a big part of everybody's business these days. Labor is tight to find, whether it's school teachers, truck drivers,
Hmm.
or I'm sure the people that work at your plant to sort and things like that. I was really impressed by the automated and the very few number of people that need
Yeah.
to work to actually harvest all these pickles, cucumbers.
Yeah.
um, what are the kind of technologies are you guys implementing to make things better, more efficient, and maybe in the end of the day, better for the consumers?
Yeah. So in the field, we're all machine harvest, as you saw, and we've been machine harvest since the 1970s. So pickles would otherwise be extremely labor intensive crop, and
Backbreaking work.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So in my lifetime, we've only had machine harvest, and now the harvesters, which are actually built in Fremont, Michigan, so Vogel harvesters that we have, they're very impressive machines. They are, picking pickles better, faster, with less damage than we've ever done before. So that's the field. When we bring pickles in, we are also using optical technology to do some of the sorting. So we use a combination of optical lasers, and now we're actually installing a camera machine this year as well. So we have two laser machines, and then we'll have one camera, and
Find the
then
bad
people.
ones, the rotten ones don't
Yeah,
look quite
yeah.
right.
And
You've got to get rid of them.
so for a material, because if you imagine,
Oh,
a field, when you harvest from the field without people, you bring in a lot of sticks and dirt and
weeds,
yeah, all of it.
stones.
Anything that's
Yeah.
growing in the field, right? So we have a process in place, and we use water to remove some of that, like the dirt and that debris. But then there's a lot of corn, what we call corn trash, which
Mm,
would just be, if you planted corn or potatoes the previous
sure.
year, then you're going to get some of
Some
those
stock
in.
didn't decay.
Yeah.
It's going to be pulled back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's been a game changer for us. I mean, without the investments in the technology, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing. Our paybacks are over, a lot of years.
Yeah.
It
You don't do
takes a
this
long
today and see
time.
the return on
Yeah,
investment.
we're very long term orientated. We're in it for the long haul, and we don't expect that something's paying back overnight, or even
Right.
so it takes a while, but the the investment in the technology has been necessary just to maintain and survive. We've also invested in housing. So,
Mm,
as an incentive for seasonal workers to come, often housing is a part of that package, um, because, labor is hard to find, but seasonal labor is even harder to
right.
find. So we're doing a lot with mechanization as well. Apart from the specific laser and camera technology,
Hmm.
mechanizing everything that we can to make it less of a backbreaking job.
Sure.
So now when you go out, if you do it, which we don't give public tours, but is but if I was to take you out in the yard right now, you would see, a lot of people operating equipment, but not a lot of backbreaking work
Hmm.
anymore. Um, I mean, that's a part of it still.
Sure.
It's still a hard job,
But I'd say
especially.
too, like farm life has changed. I grew up on a farm, and so I was the kid crawling on my hands and knees picking radishes and onions and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff. To mechanize it all, it does create a better work environment.
Yeah.
It's also safer.
Yep.
People away from that, less back injuries and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Do you have a story, a personal story about maybe an employee or why this work is important for not only you but like our state?
Yeah, I mean, I one thing that we often say is, we're a family business, but we have families working for us too.
Mm,
We've have fathers and sons, we have husbands, wives, we have mothers, sons. I mean, all the combination of things, and that's in our full time and our seasonal workforce. So we definitely have a family business culture that extends to every employee as well. We have a We're very blessed to have a lot of loyal employees that have worked here, over 20 years in many cases, and or keep coming back every
sure.
season.
They become like
So
family then to
yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah, we
great.
try to treat people with respect, and
Hmm.
hopefully they want to keep coming back and working for us. But yeah, we I think everyone here takes pride in what they're doing, as do all of us. So
Sure.
yeah,
Awesome. Katie, thank you so much for your time today,
you're welcome.
for taking away the mystery of what pickles are like
Yeah,
in Michigan. That's amazing. Thanks so much.
thank you.